From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report. A new study has found that excessive alcohol drinking costs Americans more than $220 billion a year. But the organizers of the study believe the biggest cost comes from the loss of worker productivity. Robert Brewer works for America's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, a public health agency. He helped to produce a report on the study. Researchers used findings from 2006 to examine costs linked to heavy drinking. They looked at results from around the United States and found a lot of variation in different parts of the country. Alcohol-related costs include health care, the cost of trying cases for alcohol-related crimes, and property damage from road accidents. Robert Brewer says the biggest cost, however, is the loss of productivity. Many people with a drinking problem have lower paying jobs. He says they may also be less productive when they are at work. Mr. Brewer says there is also a huge cost to people who die from alcohol-related causes. He says many are young, and their incomes and productivity are tragically lost. The researchers were mainly concerned about the cost of heavy alcohol use. The study did not look at the effect on individuals who drink a glass of beer or wine with dinner. Mr. Brewer says the largest costs come from binge drinking, when people drink a lot of alcohol in a short period of time. The study was based on the economic costs of heavy drinking in the United States. But Mr. Brewer says many nations have problems with what the World Health Organization calls harmful use of alcohol. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report. An international team of researchers has developed a drug that could help in the treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is a mental condition that can develop when someone experiences a disturbing event or series of events. People who suffer from it experience increased anxiety, depression, and may have problems with their memory. Scientists say the drug could be given to someone immediately after a trauma to prevent the development of PTSD. Raul Andero Gali is a researcher at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, who studies PTSD. He says it is the only mental disorder with a known trigger, such as a car accident or armed conflict. This means researchers have a better chance of finding a treatment. Dr. Gali and researchers at several other institutions have worked to find a gene linked to PTSD. They found a gene called OPRL1, which releases a protein receptor in the brain of some people under stress. Dr. Gali says this receptor can cause people to experience symptoms of PTSD. The researchers experimented on mice to develop a drug that blocks the receptor and reduces anxiety and fear. Dr. Ghali says investigators tested the drug called SR8993 in mice trained to fear an electric shock whenever they heard a specific sound. The mice became stressed when they heard the sound. Dr. Ghali says immediately after the sound and shocks, some of the mice were given SR8993. Others were given a placebo, an inactive substance. Dr. Ghali says the mice that got the drug showed less fear to the tone. He adds, however, that more work is needed to find out if it is effective in humans. For VOA Learning English, I'm Carolyn Presutti.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report. Scientists are working on ways to stop a disease that threatens 1/5 of the world's population. Over 120 million people are infected with lymphatic filariasis, also known as elephantiasis. The disease is found mainly in Southeast Asia and Africa. It affects the lymphatic system, which is a major part of the body's natural defenses for fighting disease. Elephantiasis can cause swelling or enlargement of skin and tissue. The cause is a tiny worm that enters and lives in lymphatic tubes for 6 to 8 years. Scientists say they have been able to demonstrate that the most common cause of elephantiasis can be stopped. They are urging those at risk to sleep under nets treated with chemicals that kill a common insect, the mosquito. Lisa Reimer teaches at the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. She formerly served in Papua New Guinea as part of a team studying the disease. The team involved researchers from Papua New Guinea, Britain, Australia, and the United States. Dr. Reimer says she was surprised at how effective anti-malaria bed nets covered with insecticide could be at fighting the disease. Doctors normally use drugs to fight the disease. Lisa Reimer says doctors in Papua New Guinea gave the drugs to people in 5 villages. She says this treatment nearly ended the threat from the worm to humans. But the drugs did not stop the threat from mosquitoes. The treated nets block female mosquitoes from securing blood, which they need to reproduce. The World Health Organization has set a goal of stopping lymphatic filariasis as a public health problem by the year 2020. For VOA Learning English, I'm Alex Villarreal.
From VOA Learning English, this is the Health Report. Nearly 4 billion people around the world have serious untreated problems with their teeth. That is what a recent report from the World Health Organization says. Health officials say failure to repair cavities can even lead to social and emotional problems. Wagner Marsens is with the Institute of Dentistry at Queen Mary University of London. He led a team of researchers as part of the Global Burden of Disease 2010 study. They used the information to estimate rates of infection. The report says untreated tooth decay is the most common of all 291 major diseases and injuries. Professor Marsens says increases in tooth decay are affecting sub-Saharan Africa and probably other areas on the continent. He says this increase in tooth decay could be a result of changes in diet as developing countries adopt Western-style diets. Many Western diets are rich in sugar, a leading cause of health problems in the mouth. But in Western countries, water supplies are often treated with the chemical fluoride. Adding fluoride to the water makes teeth resistant to the bacteria that can cause tooth decay. Wagner Marsens says oral health problems can have a major effect on a person's quality of life. Cavities make eating difficult. As a result, people may eat softer foods that are easier to chew. However, softer foods are often higher in fat. Professor Marsens is calling for an urgent, organized social response to oral health problems. He believes in fighting tooth decay through a healthier diet. He is also calling for the development of new and less costly dental materials and treatments. For VOA Learning English, I'm Mario Ritter.